Highlights of the game brought to you by Northland Workforce Training Center. Train for what's next. Getting set to chat with Chris Brown on the Worcester Hotline as we break down the Bills' win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Chris, good morning. A workmanlike, maybe that's one way to say it, but a dominating win once the Bills kind of got on the path that they wanted to get on. And they run away from Pittsburgh in the second half, run away, run around, run through. It was a big day for the run game.
Yeah, it was, and I think we kind of had the sense going in that it was going to be somewhat of a grinded-out affair, knowing that the Bills were going into that game without both their offensive tackles, down Josh Palmer, down Dalton Kincaid. It was really going to limit what you were going to be able to do in the passing game, just in terms of time for Josh to throw, et cetera. So, Eric Wood and I were talking about it leading up to kickoff, saying, you do have the number one rushing offense in football. Let's lean into that. And they did in a big way. They did get off to a slow start, but, the defense kind of sparked them, and off they went. And then after that, it was basically the same two running plays for the last 2.5 quarters of the game. Which
appears to be demoralizing for the Steelers. A lot of the talk out of Pittsburgh is T.J. Watt saying, I've never seen a team run the same play so often for so much success. The national response, the Pittsburgh response, seems to be that this is really, the latest low point for Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, it's not good. I think that the fan base in Pittsburgh in general believes that their defense is old and overpaid. That's the general consensus. Just from some of the people I talked to who cover the team down there in Pittsburgh, and the fans just feel like, Cam Hayward's crying about, getting kneed in the stomach after the game when he was also crying about being underpaid, as a 36-year-old. So that's not wearing well on the fan base in light of how the results have gone through the course of the season. The amazing thing is, they still have a chance to win their division. With as messed up as the AFC North is right now.
Right. They have 2 games left against Baltimore, so we'll see what happens there. And that was kind of the thought going in, was that they are old, but that's why maybe they seemed like a threat, because people know who T.J. Watt is. They know who Hayward is. They know who Alex Highsmith is. And with the Bills not having tackles, maybe that seemed like a bad matchup, but I don't know. Should we be as surprised as we kind of are, Chris, that the Bills dominated that matchup?
Well, they had the best running back in the game, James Cook. Jalen Warren's a nice player, so is Kenny Gainwell, but they're not James Cook. And, there were times where James just bent runs all the way back to the backside and just decided, I'm going to race your cornerback to the edge. Not a whole lot of running backs that can not have the angle and outrace cornerbacks to the edge. And then he kept doing it. And I think I'm just more stunned by the fact that the Steelers, after seeing the same 2 run plays, it either went to the tight end side or away from the tight end side. That they didn't sell out to stop it at any point in time. Like, put 9 guys in the box. They're still playing their coverage on the back end. I was stupefied by it. So, hey, here we go. We'll just keep running it. And if you've scouted Joe Brady's play calling, if there's a play that's working, he's going to keep calling it. So, I don't know. I was mystified by the whole approach defensively by Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the Dallas game a couple years ago was one of those, right? Like, they ran the same draw play like 19 times in a row because they didn't stop it. So maybe that was predictable. The defense, Chris, in this game. Pittsburgh. Did you ever feel threatened by them? Like, I thought that the first couple of drives showed that with Rodgers being in the state he was, that everything had to be quick, and that basically if they weren't going to be able to run the ball, I didn't feel like they were going to be able to do much.
Right. It's hard to feel like the Pittsburgh offense is going to run off and leave you at any point in time. It's basically chuck it up to Metcalf, hope Darnell Washington can run over 7 guys, and that's how they get their big plays. Kenny Gainwell's a nice player. He's been a spark plug for them at times and can run away from people. But on the whole, it's a pop gun offense, to be quite frank. And the only reason the Steelers have as many wins as they do is because they do get takeaways. And when we saw the Bills, with 2 takeaways early in that game, and knowing multiple takeaways in road games has usually spelled disaster for Buffalo, I think there was some genuine concern there. I know I was in the first half because it was playing out. The script was playing out as to how Pittsburgh somehow wins these games. But then I was reminded after watching last week's game that they had against Chicago. In the first half, the Steelers had an interception, a strip sack fumble in the end zone for a touchdown, recovered for a touchdown, and also had a fumble recovery in the first half against the Bears, had a 20-6 lead and still lost. So I was like, I'm a little concerned, but I'm not overly concerned. And I think it's to your point, Joe. The Steelers' offense is not an offense that runs off and leaves you, and rarely comes from behind to win either.
You were doing the broadcast, so you were obviously busy with other things. But did you get a sense at all of how negative the Steelers crowd got? I don't know if you could hear the Fire Tomlin chants, but that plus the Renegade booing?
Well, it's funny you mention that. So we could audibly hear the booing. I mean, we have a crowd mic, so that gets pumped into our headsets, what's going on in the crowd, to kind of give us a better sense of, the full atmosphere. And you heard boo birds pretty early. I would say by the third series offensively, because they had gone 3 and out, I believe, in 2 of their first 3 series, and the boo birds were already starting. And then come the second half, it got really ugly. And then Eric and I were looking at each other going, do you think they're going to play Renegade? I don't know. And so the fourth quarter starts, they do not. And then they eventually play it, I think, around 7-8 minute mark. And, yeah, that was probably the loudest boo of the night. Like, are you kidding me? You're playing this right now? The other thing that amazed me was how quickly that stadium emptied. There was 9.5 minutes left in the game, and I would say 2/3 of the people were on the way out. And, I mean, we got 5 minutes left in the game, and it's basically just Bills fans and maybe 5,000 people in the building. I've never seen a stadium empty that quickly.
Well, for the Bills, Chris, it's on to Cincinnati. Famously, we're on to Cincinnati. And the Bengals this week with a healthy Joe Burrow, which will be a interesting matchup, right? I mean, this is a team that has given them trouble. Granted, not the same version of that team. But I anticipate a bigger test than what Pittsburgh was able to give, because it's an offense that can probably put up some points.
Yes, and it's a team that plays with a bit of an edge. You've got to match that. So, yeah, and look, watching Burrow last week, it's like, is this guy really off for 2.5 months? Like, it didn't look like he missed a beat to me. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but I was certainly expecting a little more rust than what we witnessed, in his first game back. So, yeah, they'll be able to run it up if they want, because they're just so talented at the receiver positions. And Gesicki is back, the tight end, from injury, so he's back in the fold too. I think Josevich is an underrated, tertiary option in their passing game. So, and Chase Brown can run away from people. So, yeah, they've got talent at the skill positions. So the Bills have to have all that buttoned up. In an ideal fashion, Bills hopefully can get out in front. They are a defense built to stop the pass. So I guess that could be deemed advantageous. And let's not forget the Bills are 5-1 at home this season.
Absolutely. Chris, thanks very much. We'll talk on Friday.
All right, sounds good, guys. Take care.
Chris Brown's appearance here on Victory Monday, Football Monday, brought to you by Northwest Bank. For what's next, get started at northwest.com. By Northtown Volkswagen, Western New York's #1 VW dealership. Shop online at northtownvw.com. And by Lockport Outdoor Store, high-impact gear for hardworking men and women.